everyone, Sri Lanka. Welcome to my channel, guys. Adam Burwell. If you're new, please consider subscribing below. For this video, this is one of your requests. This is 10 surprising facts about Sri Lanka. I'll be putting the link in this video in the description box so that you can watch for yourself later on, okay? Here we go. Right, there it is. I have watched a couple of videos like this before. Let's see if I know most or if not all of the facts.
Lanka. Sri Lanka actually has a couple of names or titles that it's referred to as. The first is the Pearl of the Indian Ocean. This is said to be used because of the incredible beauty of the country, as well as its biodiversity, which, by the way, is the highest in all of Asia, and also because one of its main exports is actually precious gemstones. Now, the second name, the Teardrop of India, which is probably more commonly used, this is due
yes, I know this as well. However, with main export precious gemstones, I didn't know that.
Did you know that Sri Lanka was not always known as Sri Lanka? It was previously known as Ceylon, which is a transliteration of the word Ceylon. And that was the name of the country under Portuguese colonization. Now, the name was later standardized as Ceylon when the land became a British colony. And the name Ceylon, well,
I want to try Ceylon tea.
Of the famous teas as well as other products that are exported from Sri Lanka. Ceylon was the official
name. You know, you're very popular with your tea, you guys.
But the name change happened in 1972. And that takes us to the current name. That year, the name was changed to Sri Lanka. But hey, what does that actually mean anyway, Sri Lanka? Well, let's break it down. Lanka was taken from the ancient name of the island, and it was combined with the term
resplendent.
Resplendent. Okay. So Sri Lanka means resplendent.
That's a fancy word.
I had to look this up, though. I didn't know what resplendent means first time seeing it. But it actually means shining brilliantly. So the shining, brilliant island. Also, the name Sri Lanka is sometimes pronounced as Sri Lanka, and this was just because of a preference of a former prime minister in the pronunciation of the name. So fact number 7, Sri Lanka has topped the list as the largest exporter of cinnamon.
I actually know this,
In the entire world. And this is according to an international market survey in the year 2019. Yes, Sri Lanka is definitely famous for cinnamon, as it's a very essential ingredient for many of its foods. Now, cinnamon is said to have originated in Sri Lanka and was found by the Egyptians in 2000 BC.
Wow.
But even today, at the time of filming this episode, Sri Lanka is still a leading exporter of the world's cinnamon and could very well continue to be for years to come. Next up, I'll look at the national sport of Sri Lanka.
Just volleyball, right?
You probably assume that the national sport of Sri Lanka is cricket, right? But you know,
it's
cricket
volleyball.
Is still by far the most popular sport in the country. But the national sport of Sri Lanka actually is volleyball, surprisingly.
There you go.
And this sport was introduced to the country in the year 1916. The Sri Lanka Volleyball Federation is the main governing body of volleyball in Sri Lanka, and that was founded in the year 1951. Okay, guys, before we continue into the last 5 facts that I have for you in this episode, just want to take this time to mention our new channel, FTD React. Looking for something new in your daily life to keep you learning as well as laughing. So next up at number 5, this is another important fact about Sri Lanka, is that they had the first female prime minister.
Yes, I actually know this as well. They have the first female prime minister
in the world, and her name was Sirimavo Bandaranaike. And she was in office for a pretty long time. Like, her first term as prime minister began in July 1960 up until March 1965. Then her second time in office was from May 1970 to May 1972. And her position was lost, but it continued because Ceylon had gained independence from Britain. And so the country at that time became known as Sri Lanka, as I mentioned earlier. And she was prime minister of Sri Lanka till the year 1977. But she returned for a 3rd time in office. Yeah, this lady really loved her land. In the year 1994, she served up until the year 2000, which was also the year that she sadly passed away. So let's look at the flag of Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka's national flag is one of the oldest flags in the entire world. Like, take a look. See, this golden lion flag was said to have been brought with the first king of Sri Lanka
Yeah,
from India.
I think I know sort of like the explanation of this as well,
British Ceylon.
especially with the
union
flag. I have watched a
of the
video
Brits
on it
was introduced
before.
into the flag. Then the golden lion holding a sword was re-added in the year 1948 after independence. Then the 4 bow leaves that you'll notice in the corners, they were added to replace spearheads that were in the corners in the year 1972.
Wow.
And with that, we now have the flag of Sri Lanka to this day. Those 4 bow leaves, by the way, represent the 4 values of Sri Lanka. That's loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, and happiness. Fact number 3 is pretty interesting as well.
Adam's Peak.
Is the
My
most
peak, you
sacred
guys.
mountain in Sri Lanka.
Yeah,
Adam's Peak is
I also
known
knew
as Sri
this one.
Pada, and it has pilgrims from all over the world come there and climb to its peak to stand in the famous footprint that was left there.
It's
Now,
like different
Buddhists,
religions
they
in Sri
believe
Lanka
that
have
this is the
like
footprint of
different
Buddha
interpretations of
Sri
this.
Lanka.
Oh, there you go.
And Tamil Hindus believe that is the footprint of Lord Shiva. But among Christians and Muslims in Sri Lanka, it's believed that this footprint was left by Adam. And this footprint happened when
Just
he
kidding,
was
guys.
sent out of the Garden of Eden. And some believe that Sri Lanka was actually Eden itself. Next up, let's look at Buddha's tooth. This is a sacred tooth relic of Lord Buddha, and it was brought from India
Isala
in the
Perahara,
8th century
right?
CE, and it's actually still preserved in the Temple of the Tooth in the city of Kandy.
Kandy
in Sri
Isala
Lanka. Every
Perahara.
single summer, there's a huge festival known as Isala Parahira, which is the
Parahira.
festival of the tooth, to honor this tooth. And the relic came to be regarded as a symbolic representation of the living Buddha. And the note I want to end off on takes us to the oldest human planted tree. The oldest tree planted by a human being rather than by natural seeding. It's located in Anuradhapura, one of the ancient capitals of Sri Lanka. Now, it's a sacred fig or bow tree, and it is believed to be over 2,300 years old. And this tree is called the Sri Maha Bodhiya. The tree was planted about 288 BC, and its mother tree is said to be the famous Bodhi tree under which Lord Buddha achieved enlightenment when he was meditating. Alright guys, so that brings us to the end
Oh my god, I didn't know that, guys.
of this episode. This was a look at 10 surprising and interesting facts about
I think
Sri Lanka.
there's 2
Really hope you guys
facts that
enjoyed
I didn't
this
know.
Episode. Let me know all your thoughts and comments down below.
But
Definitely
yeah, I really want to try Salem tea really bad. Anyway guys, thank you so much for requesting this. I'll see you in my next upload and enjoy the rest of your almost weekend. Bye.